Alright, there you go. Alright, welcome to another hashtag Ask Jim. We've got around another training week, pretty quick again, so around 100 people, which is great to see.
Yeah, good bunch of people.
And on the weekend we had our trade show as well, which was a bit wet, but it was a good event overall.
Yeah, we're launching Jim's drought prevention, and there's a formula that will work. No rain for 3 months, we have a trade day, and it buckets down all day. Jim's drought breaking. I think that's a great new division.
The team put a lot of work into Rocky and his team, and but it was a great setup. It was a great event overall, and people who went there really enjoyed it too. So, and the actual thing for people watching online and people here, we've actually got a lot of giveaways that we have to give still. So we've got them. Stay tuned to the Facebook page and Instagram page. I'm talking like mowers. I'm talking about hundreds of dollars worth of things. So follow the Facebook page. We'll do the competitions on there. All right. Ask Jim is all about franchisees and what you want to ask Jim. So what we want to do, guys, is who wants to come up first and ask Jim a question on the mic? It's always the hardest one, the first one, but you always get them for a prize.
No.
Good man. All right. You don't have to clap or anything as well. Just come up and ask Jim a life, anything you like. And
the bold first.
Yes, good man.
Hey Jim, Andrew from Mowing. What's your vision for Jim's group in 20 years' time?
Vision in 20 years' time? Will you still be around?
Hopefully I'll still be around. I've got a life expectancy in the 90s based on my extremely good health habits, apart from eating rather luxurious desserts today, which actually got on my trousers. But I just want to get better. I think I have one goal. We've never had numerical goals. We've never said we want a certain number of franchisees, certain income. What we want to do is, my goals would be to have 0 franchisees unhappy in any way with our system and their income or anything else, and 0 clients unhappy with our service. Those are my goals. I don't expect to reach them, but I expect to get closer. That's it.
Very good, thank you.
Very good question, good man. Thanks for that. Cool, that's how easy it is, guys. Come up and ask Jim anything you like. Away we go. Who's got a question for Jim? Just come up and ask him at the mic. I've got to get you on there. You don't have to put your hand up, guys. Just walk up to it, ask him anything you like. Be anything too, not just business. About the books at the front, whatever.
This is a guy from training. He's got a real good smile.
There's always
somebody in the training that's got a very good reaction. I noticed this.
Thanks for that, John.
That's a good thing.
What's your name?
Yeah, my name's John Ravey. We're from Cleaning Division. It's my wife, Khaleesi, over here. We came from Auckland and we're loving Melbourne, but we're very excited to get started in the program. But just wondered, how do you see the market developing in New Zealand and the differences between New Zealand and Australia?
Well, New Zealand's very good for us. In fact, we're growing much faster in New Zealand than in Australia. And basically the reason is because the New Zealand economy is so bad. Yeah. We've got work. So we've got a lot of work. We can attract people who need jobs. In Australia, the job market is a lot tighter, so pretty good. But look, our plan for New Zealand is pretty much the same thing. We want to improve the level of customer service. We've got some changes coming shortly with the program called Jim's Jobs, which will actually enable us to give much better service. It'll tell us, it'll reward franchisees who haven't contacted within 2 hours, and eventually by the end of the year we'll have a system that will be able to book jobs directly into a franchisee's diary if you wish. Excellent. So we can give better service, happier customers, better conversion rate, we will boost. We just got to get better at what we're doing. That's my plan, and that's the plan for New Zealand, it's the plan for Australia, plan for everywhere. But the tougher the economy gets, in effect, that's good for us. You know, our best year ever was back in the early 90s. We grew like 1,000 to 1,400 in a single year because we were in a recession. So Jim's, we're short of franchises much more than we're short of clients.
So we picked the right time.
I think you did. I think you chose the right business to go into.
Yeah. Thanks very much. It's a pleasure to meet you too today.
Pleasure to meet you too, and thank you for your contribution during training. It is true actually. There's usually when you're speaking to even 100 people, there's usually 1 or 2 people that really so expressive, and you sort of just recognise them and know them.
Thanks.
See, that's a rare compliment from Jim. I've never heard that one before. So there you go. Great smile. Keep it up. That's a good one. Guys, come up and ask Jim a question. Go for it. Whip through 'em.
Hi Jim. First of all, thank you from all of us giving this opportunity and giving a nice training. My question is, if you can just tell us a little bit for your background before you started this, and why did you just choose this business to come in?
Well, actually, I intended to be an academic. I went to university for 10 years, earning myself eventually a PhD in history to work on this project here, which is an understanding of the way human society works in terms of epigenetics. And I had a goal to try and do something about what I could see as a problem arising in our society, which you can see even more clearly in recent years with the plunging birth rates and so forth. And I got to the end of my PhD thinking I'd have an academic career, and I realised there was absolutely no prospect of that happening. My thoughts were too wild. So what I did is I turned my part-time student job, which was mowing lawns, into a full-time business, with the idea of eventually being able to fund my own research institute. So yeah, it was all basically academic. I didn't ever have a goal to be rich for its own sake. I just wanted to be able to pursue this.
Right. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Cheers.
That's all in that book as well. So that one at the front, not that one, the one you get in training, which they get in their training, and obviously there's an audio book version of it too.
Yeah, you've got a copy of that book, haven't you, with you in your pack? Have a look through that, you'll see the whole thing laid out.
Absolutely, good question. Cool, got a question for Jim, guys? Ask him anything. Jump up.
Hello, Jim. I have a question for you. What are some problems you faced while trying to scale Jim's group, and how did you overcome them?
The hardest thing is to find people. Always the issue. You've got lots of ideas and visions and stuff, but finding quality people is really, really difficult. And I struggled a lot with that. To find people like, we've tried hiring people from outside, doesn't work usually. A lot of the best people come from within, like franchisees who become successful franchisors and who run divisions. That's a big source of recruitment. Rocky comes from that sort of role. Internal staff. Joel started with as a very junior position, basically lugging files around and stuff, didn't you?
Sort of, yeah. We were destroying documents at one stage. So yeah, we've done a few things.
The most basic level you could imagine, and he just showed that ability. And I got to know him, and he had ideas about things. He's now one of the top managers in the company. He's responsible for our entire social media, entirely self-taught. So we're looking for talent. That's the hardest thing, finding great people at every level. You never know, in this room, we may well have future franchisors, multi-millionaire franchisees, funding these divisions. Just last year, Lance has a party, one of our Mowing franchisees from South Australia, launched Jim's driving school. And there's people here this week in that division. That's just one of our franchisees. So that's the hardest thing, to find good people. Maybe you're one of them. You never know what you might achieve. People surprise themselves. You haven't heard from Dan yet. He's tomorrow morning, isn't he? Yeah. You read a Dan Carl's story. Dan was the guy who was a high school dropout. This is the kind of person that the world says, you are useless, you'll never achieve anything, you're not academic, you're not a scholar, you can't make university, you can't even complete high school, you are human garbage. That's kind of the way that society looks at it. This guy bought a Jim's Mowing franchise with great trepidation some years back, became one of our most successful ever franchisees. He's now one of the top franchisors in the country and about to go and launch in the US. And there's great people at all levels. You just got to find them. That's the hardest part. But we've got 5,500 franchisees. I've got like 100 staff. There's great people everywhere. That's the challenge. That really is.
Thank you.
The beauty from you is you listen to everyone, so that's the key with Jim. You know, he listens to everyone. He had no right to listen to me, but you listen to Megan back in the day and all that sort of stuff. So you listen to everyone. That's
Two of my top
key.
managers, including Joel, basically started at the most junior level possible, and I got to know them, and I just say, hey, you've got some talent, you've got some ideas, and that's it's not common, but they're there. The gold.
Jim, Richard Knight from the Mowing division. Thank you for having us. My questions are, I guess, how has the service industry opportunity changed over the years? I feel like when I was growing up, everyone did their own thing. They did their own mowing, their own things around the house. It was just something we did. What's changed society so much that there's now this huge service industry?
I think people are more comfortable with brands than they used to be. See, when I was growing up, if you wanted to go out, you had your local hamburger joint, your fish and chip shop, this kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then people like McDonald's come along, and you get a certain experience of regularity. I mean, McDonald's it's a great business. It's lousy food, but they have a great sense of uniformity in what they do.
Yeah.
So people have got used to that. But I think also we've managed to prove the case, because once you start using a gym service and you have a good experience, you're very likely to use another one.
Yeah.
I was checking the new removals division, looking at where the job, looking up clients, and every single one of the clients I checked had used another gym service.
Yeah, right.
And most of them have a good experience, and that's the big difference. The big change too is in IT. And it might not seem it, but we are very driven by IT. We spend several $1 million a year on software development.
Yeah, right.
Huge amount. We spend, I won't even say how much, but it's millions of dollars a year. And that's enabled us to do things like put better systems of customer service, like routine surveys to clients and their feedback mechanism, which I was talking about in training yesterday.
Yep.
So those things have changed dramatically. But you've also got to change in things like the rise of social media. When I first started off, it was leaflets in local papers and yellow pages. Now it's overwhelmingly, it's Google, it's Facebook, it's social media. So it's dramatically changed. And the one thing we do is we change very, very fast, very often. There's not a week goes by we don't change something. There's not a day goes by I don't think, how can we improve, what can we do better? It's that relentless drive. It's the same reason we'll make you successful too. As a franchisee, you'll go out there and you'll start. And if you've got the right mindset, you'll be looking at it and saying, hey, how can I do this better? How can I get this job done faster? How can I do it cleaner? How can I travel better? How can I talk to my clients in a way that will get me a higher price? How can I do extras? How do I present this? How do I get referrals? All these different things that you're going to be able to learn to do, and you're just going to get better. And how do I employ staff? And how do I put my staff member on a different thing? Or how do I become a franchisor? Or how do I, whatever. It's that relentless change. We're a society in throes of change, and we've got to change with it. It's exciting.
Thank you very much.
There you go, good question. Got one real quick online, Jim. Fab's a franchisee in Mowing. He's gone, what does Jim think about setting up a debt collection agency? As I've got a handful of clients who don't pay, I'm struggling to get money out of them.
Yes. We were thinking of that as a April Fool's gag, which we
were, yeah.
We have Jim's debt collection, and you have a guy, musket guy, standing with a baseball bat in the.
Maybe it could be someone from the CFMEU. We don't know. You can maybe do that. They can go around there and get their collection for them. But we were going to do Jim's debt collection is a thing that gets asked for a while from franchisees. Is there anything built in Jim's jobs, or what's the?
Actually, Jim's jobs will have some pretty good. When it's eventually developed, by the end of the year, we have planned to have a number of different avenues in that you can basically hassle people a bit. Sometimes clients complain about our guys chasing them overly aggressively for money. Let me tell you, that is one customer complaint I have no patience with at all. If you don't want to be hassled, then pay your bill. So, we'd like to do a few things like that. We'd like to set out some automated processes.
And there should be a preferred suppliers debt collection as well, on the preferred suppliers list who do it as
We've
well.
had it in the past, actually, but I don't know if anybody particularly successful.
No.
I'd like to do it internally, actually. I'd like to have a debt collection service. But you can just simply put a client on and you can send them letters and...
Well, that's probably the thing maybe he's hinting at, service for franchisees with that sort of side, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's a good one, actually. We should look at it. I think it's a good service because franchisees need it. Nothing annoys me more than clients who don't pay. It's not a big number. I would probably, as a mowing contractor, would have maybe lost 1% of my turnover based on people not paying, but they bug you.
Any advice maybe then, Fab, about payment if he's struggling?
Just bug them a bit.
Just bug them a bit, right?
Yeah, just send them texts and just chase them and at odd times of the day or night and this kind of thing. And just
if you do get a complaint, it won't be a complaint. That's the thing.
It won't be a complaint. I don't complain about you being aggressive about debt collection. We also have a thing called red listing clients. If clients don't pay, we actually put a note against them, and that means they don't get service from anybody else. And we need to do more of that sort of stuff. Again, with the development of software, we intend to make it so that we've got more of a, like in Uber, with Uber, you rate the driver rates the passengers. And the same thing with Airbnb. Have you anybody used that? Yeah, you get that. It's a good system actually, because you both have to rate each other before either of you can see. So you really try and be a good tenant. I rent this for my family sometimes, and we're very careful to be good tenants, I can tell you. So the same principle.
A good question there, Fab. Guys, got a question for Jim? Feel free to come up and ask. Just jump up and ask him. Everyone's looking around. Just jump up and ask. Go for it.
Come.
Anything you like.
I'm Asha from healthcare. Jim's got 5,500 franchisees, and they're all in different industries. They operate differently. They have different challenges. And you mentioned you keep a close eye on customer feedback, and you screen us as franchisees. As a CEO, how do you maintain your quality of job, customer service, and like everything in general as a taking proactive measures? How do you manage as a CEO?
The interesting thing about what we do is that it's all very similar. Our services, whether it's healthcare or mowing or dog wash or cleaning, they're all services where people come to us, book a job, and we go and do it. And that's one reason we stick to those things. We don't tend to do retail. We don't do fixed sites because we don't understand them. There's a lot of things people want us to go into, and we say, no, we're not interested. But what you do is very similar, and it's the same kind of process. We monitor complaints, we survey clients, we have a certain kind of automatic feedback systems. And I am personally very involved with customer service. People find that very odd, but if any customer doesn't get a response to the first complaint and they ring back again, they'll send it to me and I'll follow it up, and I'm often quite aggressive about it. I'll basically tell the client and the franchisee and the franchisor, if this doesn't get fixed by Friday, I did that today actually, if this isn't fixed by Friday, get a quote to fix it, send it to me, I'll pay the bill, and then I'll bill the franchisee. So I tend to take a personal attitude, which keeps everybody on their toes. I'm also the only person that can delete complaints. That's one of my daily jobs. I go through and looking at it, and then if it's a genuine issue, I'll delete it. If not, I'll say, if somebody puts a delete request in, which isn't valid, like said that franchisee rang but didn't text, then I'll write back and say, hey, you need to text as well as ring. So I'm personally very involved at the grassroots of the business. I would today have had contact with at least 3 different franchisees with various kinds of issues. And I can do something, I can help them. Or I can, there's one franchisee who was owed a lot of money, and so I'm trying to negotiate with the franchisor a payment system, a payment plan, so they can stay on. Or somebody might have short of work, so I work out ways of doing it. Like it was arranged for one franchisee to take cross-divisional work, so I do that. So I work personally, very directly at the grassroots of the business, which is the customer service and the franchisee welfare. That's how I keep track of things. And I think people find that a very odd thing for a CEO to do, but I've actually got very competent managers. Like, I know nothing about social media. I don't even use it, actually.
But he's all over it, but he doesn't use it.
I'm all over it. You'd think I'm one of the biggest friends around, but all I do is, he sometimes puts on a camera.
That's all I do. Q&As with questions.
Q&A, and I do it. So I'm known as being big on social media, but I don't actually use social media personally.
Don't tell anyone, but that's all, yeah.
Don't tell anyone. All right.
It's all good.
No, but it's true though. The fact of the matter is, there's a lot of things I don't do very well. Social media is one. I'm not a particularly great manager. I'm not particularly good at accounts. I don't know much about IT. I mean, you could keep on. I mean, I'm not good at these things. But my role in Jim's is to be at the grassroots, to understand how customers are experiencing it. Most of all, how franchisees, but what can we do to improve? And that's my drive really. That's the thing that I'm there. And I do the PR stuff too.
We can see that in Jim's. Thank you.
Good question. We do have actually a day in the life with Jim where we followed him from the morning when you're in your dressing gown to when we did this, and you actually see how Jim does his day, where he manages complaints and he explains his process and everything. It's really transparent.
I clear my email box at least once a day, usually 2 or 3 times, so that every franchisee wants to contact me can get in touch with me and get a response of some kind.
Just YouTube Day in the Life of Jim Penman, goes for 45 minutes, plays squash, he deals complaints, emails. It's literally the day that you do. It's right there, so we're really transparent about it, so you can actually see how he does it.
Yeah.
Cool, go for it.
What's one lesson you learned like later on in life that you wish you would have learned before?
Stick to what I know. I have one characteristic. I am so enthusiastic and visionary about things that I jump into businesses that I don't particularly understand. Now, I'm going to give you a list of all the stupid things I've done in terms of businesses. A computer shop, mower repair shop, holiday resort, a couple of times trade exchanges, factory for making fiberglass trailers,
And Mowing trailers, yeah.
Psychology Institute. What have I forgotten?
The gyms.
The gyms,
Yeah.
yeah. Jim's Gym. What's called, it was Jim's Gyms. That was a terrible thing to go into. People lost a lot of money
Beach
on
House,
that.
Beach House it was, I think.
Beach House,
Yeah.
it was called Beach House, not gyms. That's just the one off the top of my head. These are all things that I went into that I really seriously regret doing. So one of the things I've learned is stick to what you know. Where I've done best is where I stick to something that I know and work from that, make that better, improve it. And it's really quite surprising because you look at different things people do and they say, there's so much money in this. You can do it yourself. We even had a go at launching our own fencing franchise. We thought there's so much opportunity in fencing, but gee whiz, it's hard. It really is hard. And to come out of it after throwing away more money than I like to imagine, we come back to the conclusion, hey, it's better to have franchisees do this. That's what we're good at. Let's work out ways to have more franchisees and make them more successful and not try and do it ourselves. So that's the biggest lesson. Everybody's got their weaknesses. And to me, it's rushing into things I don't really understand well enough and thinking that they're easier than they are. Because everything always looks great from the outside.
Thank you.
good question.
I have one more.
Yeah.
Say if 30 years ago was today in this era, how would you start building a business like the same way you started, but like more?
Well, I started gyms as a franchise 36 years ago. So it's look, the principle is much the same. You just got to go in and give great customer service. You've got to look after your customers. You've got to do it in a way that it's got to be an emotion more than a logic. If people think I'll give great customer service because that's why I can make a lot of money, you tend to have the wrong attitude. If you think I'm going to give great customer service because it's in my nature, I hate to see the job less than perfect. I hate to let anybody down. If you have that kind of emotional driver, you'll tend to do well. And I don't think it really matters. The technology and everything else is secondary to that. So it's the attitude, obsession about customers, or if you're a franchisor, about franchisees, primary customers, and constant improvement. It doesn't matter what situation you're in. If it was 100 years ago, it'd be still the same kind of attitude. What can you do to delight and amaze? How can you improve? Better service, lower costs. How can you look after your staff better? How can you look after your people better too? You've got to be a great employer. You've got to be a great service provider. Amaze people with... doesn't change.
Sorry, just
Good
want
question.
to add in there, Jim. He's my son. He's only 14-year-old. He just came here with me, and
These are some very impressive
I
questions.
think
actually.
I'm
Well
very
done.
happy now. I bring him here because I wanted to give him some business idea and wanted to get him in training with me. But I think I did the right thing, so he came here to see you. Thank you.
Yeah, wonderful. That's good. Starting young is good. You know, I didn't even think about being in business seriously until I was 30. You're at 14 and you're already going. Let me tell you, you can start now. You could be doing, I don't know, what kind of work do you like doing? Is there any particular kind of business that you like, cleaning or gardening or what?
No, not like anything physical. I was gonna try to like make like something technology related, maybe.
A SaaS product or something.
Yeah.
Admin or something. I'm gonna give him some job in invoicing or like that.
Yeah.
So
Well,
you start with that.
tech is a good area to be in.
Yes.
We never employ less tech people, I can tell you. They just keep on more and more jobs for them. So if you're interested in that, that's good. Whereabouts do you live?
In Perth, WA.
Oh, I was going to suggest that if you want to have a bit of work experience here, it might be a bit far to travel across. But if you can get a bit of work experience in that area. I had my son, Aaron, who's 15, so he's only a year older than you, who came doing a bit of work in the office. And he did very well. He just learned a bit about computer and how to put them together and stuff. So get some practical experience. Don't wait. People have this ridiculous idea you're supposed to actually finish your school and then go to university and spend years of education, and then you start looking at what you might want to do. No, start now. Start at 14. You know that the biggest turnaround in my life happened to me at your age, 14 years old. And two things happened actually. One of them is that I discovered we did a thing about pulse, that I was one of the least fit kids in the class. So, because I had a very high pulse rate, it was about 70, it was a bit over 70, and I determined then that I was not going to let that happen, I was going to be fit. Well, at the age of 72, I still run half an hour a day, lift weights, play squash, all the rest of it, and I benefit from it. So that started when I was 14 years old. And the other thing, when I was 14 years old, a friend gave me a copy of Thucydides, The Peloponnesian Wars, which is a book about a war in ancient Greece. And that was the start of my interest in history and the rise and fall of civilization. And all of this stuff we're talking about here aroused out of that particular thing. These things happened to me when I was 14. And they're life-changing. So it's never too early to set your life on a good course. There's a wonderful book, if you can get to it, called 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. If you've got it, good man. All right. You've got a great start. That's a wonderful one. I'm just going through it. Just finished reading it for the second time now. I'm just trying to go through all the proactive, begin with the end in mind, work on the things that are urgent, not urgent but important, and then talks about win-win and all kinds of things. It's a fantastic book. It's a really good book. You're at the age where you should be starting to change yourself and develop the person you're going to be. Because when you're a kid, you don't have much. You sort of go along with your parents or what's around you. But when you become a teenager, you get to the stage where you can start to make your own life and make your own decisions, as I did. And you can do that too. Good on you.
Bit of Jim's life coaching there for you as well. I don't know where Sue's in the office, but that's a good one. Really good question.
We actually do have Jim's
We
life
do,
coaching.
exactly right. You should be a franchise.
So that's my free version of it.
There you go. Guys, you've got a question for Jim, feel free to come up and ask him anything you like.
Yeah.
Come up, go for it. We've got a few online too, Jim, which I'll get to in a minute as well. But
Jim, Dion from Scratch and Dent. I was just writing one down because I knew I'd forget it. Taking into account that Homo sapiens have been on Earth for roughly 300,000 years and only 1.6% of human history is recorded, with the dramatic advances in technology over the last 1,000 years leading us to where we are now, do you think there has been modern civilizations on Earth before us?
jeez, there we go.
Wow. Okay, all right.
He likes that one.
I like that question. I'm going to put it down as one of my favourites. No, because there couldn't have been, because we'd see it. You'd dig it up. There'd be concrete all over the place. If anybody, a million years from now, when human races died out and some alien come along and start digging up the earth, they're going to see stacks of what we are. You're going to see concrete all over the place, which is a very peculiar kind of rock. You're going to see plastic. You're going to see this peculiar thing all over the earth, all these odd metals and things. I tell you what, it's going to make a bigger mess than the asteroid impact we are.
Yeah. All right, one more quick one. Do you think the pyramids were built by humans?
No, there we go.
Yeah, I do.
Oh, thank you.
I think actually, if you don't mind me saying so, it's a bit arrogant for people to think that we know so much in the modern world they couldn't have done it. People in the old ages were just as smart as us. Genetically speaking, we're no brighter than the ancient Egyptians. Yeah. And they knew an awful lot of very special things. In fact, if you go back to the dawn of civilization, you look at someone like Sumerians, one of my favourite peoples who lived in Iraq, about 4,000 or 5,000 years ago. The stuff that they developed was quite extraordinary, all the inventions. And this is only just a few tens of thousands of people living in a few cities in what's now, lower central Iraq. And they developed the potter's wheel. They developed a sense of time, all the idea of seconds and minutes and hours. That's all Sumerian. They developed the circle. That's why it's 360 degrees in the circle, because the Sumerians like 60. And there's a whole stack of other inventions that this people did. They were incredibly creative and brilliant. So we are not the smartest people who live on the earth, I can tell you by any means. Or you look at what the ancient Greeks achieved, especially in Athens in the late 5th, early 4th centuries, the kind of developments of technology and art and literature and philosophy and all the kind of things that they developed. They were incredibly smart people. I like to think it's what Isaac Newton said. If I see further than other men, it's because I stand on the shoulders of giants. And he was about the biggest giant as you can get in terms of human thought. But even he recognised we build on what past ages did. And I don't think we're smarter than anybody else. We just know a bit more.
Good question.
Good question.
Great
question.
If you don't know, Jim
love that question.
Jim has a PhD in history, if you don't know, so there you go. Brought that one out really well. Guys, you got a question for Jim? Feel free to come up. We've got a heap of time to keep going. So, anyone got a question for Jim? Come on, someone come up. We need to get some questions. I've got a couple online real quickly. We've got one here about FAB. So FAB's gone, just having the support to get money out of people would be good because debt collections agencies don't touch small amounts, like $200. So obviously, Mowing's a bit less than the $200, so they won't even touch it. So that's where he's having a problem with.
I think it's a good idea, actually. I think we should consider doing something about that. Not as a franchise, just as a head office
Head office service.
All we need to do is to set up some sort of program to badger people a bit.
Yep. And then David's gone here. Jim, you like audio books. However, what's your favourite music? And do you listen to music at any time of day in particular to relax?
My favourite music? Oh, that's an interesting one. I like a lot of Christian music, I suppose.
Okay.
I like can't even say who, people like Keith Green, which is old, and a lot of the new ones too, like also even other kinds of, not just church music, like psalms and things like that I enjoy. Old style hymns, modern music, Christian music to a large extent. But then I like composers like Aaron Copland. You really know Copland? Not one of your best known, but he did some Appalachian Spring and Fanfare for the Common Man, those kind of things. So.
But you mainly listen to audiobooks though when you're out there, sort of in the garden.
Mainly audiobooks, yes.
Yeah.
So I'm just listening to. I'm just finishing off listening to in the car coming back. I was dropping my son off, and I was listening to an audiobook of Stephen Covey again. Is what's in my mind. But yeah, sometimes music is good though. I find music is a great kind of an emotional recharge. So for a certain frame of mind, I will take a walk on a nice day and listen to music and feel very inspired, very emotional at times. I get quite teary at times with things like that too, just very, very moved. There's that sense of passion, a sense of really wanting to do something useful with my life. Because I'm naturally bone idle. It's people don't believe it, but it's true. I have to push myself. Get out of here, lazy so-and-so. Do some more work. I'm trying to work on a book, my baby bus book.
Yes, big one.
And the only way I could get it written, you know how I did this? I was putting it off prevaricating. I went to my life group, which is my church small group that meets every fortnight. We see each other all the time. And I said, okay, make me accountable. So I have to do some work on this every day. And they would ask me, have you done it? So I knew they were going to ask me, so I did it. So I actually ended up writing this book, and I'm just in the process of doing all the references now, which is difficult. But I have to push myself to do things. So I do get stuff done, but it's not easy. But everything worthwhile in life is just, it's doing things you don't necessarily feel like doing. And it might be exercising, and it might be eating well, and it might be doing the really important jobs in life, not just the urgent things you have to do, but the things that are really important, like what Stephen Covey talks about. That you've got life. You can divide your tasks that you've got into things that are urgent and things that are important. It's like a square. And we tend to spend so much of our life looking at the things that are urgent, important, but urgent, not important. Just things that come to us, responding to an email or somebody's request. But there's a section across there which is the not urgent, important. And that's the stuff we've got to focus on, the things that aren't urgent, that nobody's driving us to do, but are really worthwhile, like my book, which change everything.
Got a question for Jim, guys. Please feel free to come up and ask him anything you like at all. Yeah. Got a couple online as well, which we'll get to in a minute.
Good evening, guys. Thanks for the opportunity, firstly. All right, my name is Lijo. I'm from Jim's Mobile Tires. So my question is, so you said you started Jim's group 36 years ago. If you get a chance to go back to 36 years and you want to change something that you didn't do when you're building the group, what would that be?
Oh my goodness! If I could get a time machine and do our training course that you're going through this week, oh my goodness, it'd be so different. First of all, I spend far too much time worrying about legal contracts, which is really pretty trivial. You just got to have a good system. I'd write it myself. I just know what I know now. I didn't spend enough investment in technology. I should have invested in the technology before I launched. Things like handling leads and getting them out and so forth. That kind of process of doing it efficiently and quickly. I didn't understand what franchisees needed. I didn't understand the value of meetings, for example. I had no idea how important they were until I could see people failing, which is painful. And the proactive call. That's one of our greatest innovations. It's getting franchisors to ring franchise, not just take the call, but ring the franchisees, which is a tough thing to do. We really push them, and we breach them if they don't do it. So we push them, but we know that if franchisors ring franchisees regularly, run regular meetings, ideally at least every 6 weeks, where they get together, ideally have a meal together, those kinds of things. And I would have given franchisees more power right from the beginning. Things that I've developed, like vetoing changes to manuals and voting out franchisor, all these things I would have put into the original contract. There was so much I just didn't know, didn't understand, I can tell you. And we're still learning. I'm going to look back in 6 months' time and I'm thinking, jeepers, Jim, you idiot. Back in March, why did you do that? Oh, come on, what's wrong with you? I know I'm going to think that. I do it all the time. I look back on even things that I did 6 months ago and I think, jeepers creepers, you were an idiot, come on.
Thank you.
You know, one of the Rex things, if you read my book, and I hope you will, you're going to read my book, aren't you? The one, I put it in your pack, so I'll blame you if you don't read it. I'll get most upset if you don't read it. One of the things you'll see about that is that I talk a lot about the things that I'm bad at. And people get this idea that because somebody's, seems successful, that they don't make mistakes. The last thing I want people to do is to look at me and say, hey, Jim's so great, I could never be like that. Because he's so brilliant and so charismatic and so smart. I want you to read that book and think, jeepers, if this idiot can do so many stupid things and make so many dumb mistakes and still have some level of mistake, I'm going to do much better than him. All right? Is that fair enough?
Yes. Thank you.
All right. Good question. Thank you.
There is an audio book as well for that book, so you can download the Audible one as well for free. It's actually on our website, jims.net or jimpenman.com.au. Get yourself a free copy as well. Cool, guys. We've got a question for Jim. Feel free to come up. I've got a couple online real quickly, Jim, for you. Wayne Demos has gone here. For a mowing franchise, how many leads on average per week would you suggest is required in order to build a successful customer base or business? And mowing route, how many leads a week?
Well, presuming you're starting from none, you usually would hope to get several leads a day to begin with, because you're not going to convert them all. We generally tend to convert most leads into jobs, but a lot of them you don't. You would like to get several leads a day. The thing that's very important, though, is it's not so much a matter of... Look, you can be at a season where the work just floods in. And in fact, when I write my 1 month letter to franchisees, the most common reaction I get from it, from most of them, because I think most people reply. You're going to reply to me, aren't you? I'm going to send you a 1 month letter, and you're all going to write back to me, because if you don't, I'll be very hurt and insulted, all right? I'm just warning you. I'll write you a nasty letter. No, I won't, but still. The point of it is, when people reply to me, the most common answer that I get is, I'm busy. That is the normal answer. But there's a significant minority who aren't. And then it really matters what you do. It's a matter of going out doing the pay for work guarantee, which is what I specifically write about in my letter too. And then looking at the options. What could you do? Okay, there's not enough leads coming through. What do I need to do? Pay for work guarantee, upsell, asking for referrals, use of social media, going through all the videos, the wonderful videos that Joel and his team has done, and reading them. I'm always referring people back to those videos. Look at those, learn from them, and keep on going. And if you do that, and if your customer service is good, which the great majority of you will be successful. It doesn't matter if you only get 1 lead a day, you'll still make it work.
Well, the one we had the other day was the one I forwarded you from that laundry services lady. 2 weeks in, she got diagnosed with breast cancer and hated her job, and after 2 weeks she's already a lot happier. We're interviewing her tomorrow, but I thought it was a really nice story as well. So that was over after 2 weeks.
But she's doing a lot of marketing, isn't she?
She's doing a lot. She's done a lot of good stuff. She's been really proactive in her business, so she's doing a great thing.
We will help people to do it. One of the biggest things we do for franchisees is we actually act as a coach. Leads is important, but you can be too focused on leads and think, I'm just going to wait for the leads to come in. And that's actually a bad sign. And I get this quite often from franchisees who say, hey, there should be more leads, So I write back and say, what are you doing about pay for work guarantee? No, I want more leads. You don't understand, I need more leads. You've got to send me more leads, because I can't live on the leads you're sending me. I said, what about going offering freebies? No, that's not the idea. No, I want more leads. You're going to solve things. Now that kind of person's in bad trouble. I don't get that a lot, but I do get it sometimes, and it really concerns me, because that person is headed for failure. Maybe we get them more leads. Sometimes we can try to do things to get them more leads, but essentially they have to do things themselves. And that's our job as business coaches, to make that happen.
Guys, we've got some time for Jim, so please feel free to come up and ask him a question. Anyone got a question there? Cool. Beautiful. You got one up the back? Harry, see you, mate. I had Harry on the podcast. So I don't know. Harry, how you going?
Go, Harry.
Yeah. Go for it.
Hi Jim, how are you?
Very good.
First of all, I think I don't have a question, but can I just say something?
Of course, go for it.
Okay. First of all, I'm so glad to be meeting Jim and all the franchisees. It's really been a great occasion for me. And secondly, can I have your book that is related to history?
Someone's asked earlier. There we go.
This one.
Yes.
Come and grab it afterwards because you asked us sort of a question.
So this is a question, can I have it?
You can have it, you can have it. It's not easy. Let me tell you, the new book called Baby Birth Rate Crisis is going to be a lot more approachable than that one. But it's on the, if you go to buyhistory.org, you can download that from the website.
Okay, thank you very much for this.
Or anybody else.
I want you to sign this for me.
I will sign it for you.
And the other thing is that I just want to tell you that I have been an academician, just like you.
All right.
I was a university assistant professor, and now I'm just thinking of purchasing a laundry franchise, and I really look forward to seeing myself successful in this. And I also look forward to your support, and not only me but everyone here. They look forward to your continuous support because everyone is nervous also.
What was your area, your academic area? What were you teaching?
Applied linguistics.
Applied linguistics. Oh,
Yeah.
that's very highbrow.
Yeah, I know.
I'm just history.
Yeah. It has history. It's we call it philology, like history of language. So
That's
it's
very interesting. It's a good
Yeah.
interesting subject. But
Yeah.
I tell you what, after what I know about the academic environment, I begin to think that business is a lot more fun than academia because it's very political, very constrained in what you can do.
I just thought that I still love books, of course. I still do reading.
Yes.
But what I thought was I got just one life, and I'm just done with academics, and I want to explore myself in some other areas. So that's why I'm here. So I don't know if it's a good decision or not, but in my hearts of heart, I know that I'm doing right. So and you're a very good inspiration for me, a great inspiration, and I'm so lucky to see you in person, because I always wanted to see a millionaire.
Actually, if you want to see a millionaire, there's lots around. Dan Cole's a multi-millionaire.
You are the second one in my life, I must say.
Can I tell you something? The very funny thing about my position is that people, when they don't know me very well, are very automatic. Say, "Oh, Jim." After they get to know me, they "Oh, Jim." It's true. Really, it is true.
No,
nobody who knows me well is the slightest bit impressed with me. I can quite assure you. Least of all my family.
I'm really impressed. I'm really impressed because you're so accessible. So this is what everyone wants.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But the hardest thing is to get people to actually call me because they had this sort of sense that I am so distant. Somebody actually tried to contact me today. Who was that? Are you here? No, there's somebody today just rang me up. They had an issue, a question, and I answered the phone and talked to them for a bit. It's important to know that I'm accessible. The hardest lesson to get across is that I can be contacted. The thing that frustrates me is when somebody says, "I had this problem. I've made no money for the last 3 weeks. I didn't want to trouble you because I know you're busy." And then they contact me. "I'll get you going tomorrow. Come on, I can do it for you. Why didn't you contact me 3 weeks ago?" Yeah. That's very frustrating to have a person not contact me. And one of the reasons I actually like to greet people during these sessions, during training, and I try and actually, I think most of you I've bumped fists with, haven't I, during the week? I really try and get round and greet you because that may, if you have a problem, you can contact me. And sometimes it's really useful that you do. Yeah. Useful for you, useful for me, useful for the gym, for our whole company.
I really appreciate that. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And I'll get your signature. Thank you.
You'll get my signature.
Nice one. Got a question, guys? Feel free to come up and ask. Jim, I've got one here online real quickly. Jim, Naomi Campbell's gone, "Hi, Jim. What are you doing to attract more women to come into the male-dominated trades/divisions? Thanks." It's a good question.
Yeah. Well, we love... Actually, we've got, I think, a second female into Scratch and Dent.
Yes, that's true. Yeah.
Which is amazing. It's only got about 25 franchisees and 2 are women. And this is like spray painting and hammering cars and stuff. You think about as masculine as you can get. We find that women tend to do really well in divisions like mowing because they tend to go... men do mowing because it's just something that men do. if a woman gets into a mowing business, they does it because she loves gardening, and they tend to be very popular with clients.
I've interviewed a few in building inspections.
Building
so Laura's an
inspections
awesome
too,
building
yeah.
inspector up in Sydney. She does really, really well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll do what we can. In actual fact, though, the fastest growing divisions in Jim's group are actually the ones that are the most female friendly, like laundry, dog wash, cleaning. They're really very majority female divisions, and they're really fast because it's very attractive for women especially, because one of the problems these days is you've got both couples working, you've got issues with childcare. So who picks up the kids from school? What happens if a child is sick and needs to stay home? You've got a 9-to-5 job, that's really difficult to handle. You've got your own business. So we find a tremendous interest. We'd love to get more women into things like mowing and
pest control and termite is one.
Pest
I've met a
control.
few. Yeah, it's a massive advantage they have if they do.
Clients tend to love women.
Tenants and security is another one. I've met one in that.
They really
do really, really well. Yeah.
Yeah, clients react very well. We think it's just one of those myths. But you will have more men in some of these female-oriented ones too. I think one of the tragedies of the current age is there's too much division. Like we could do with a lot more women in things like mowing businesses and so forth. But I tell you what, we could do with a lot more men in professions like teaching, as an example. And I think it's sad, even though there's many wonderful female teachers, one of the things they've discovered is that if boys have access to male teachers in secondary school as a role model, they tend to do significantly better. It makes a difference to girls either way. But boys do. My son-in-law just had the father of a little girl. She's about 6 months old. He's a teacher. He's a high school teacher. And that's a wonderful profession. So it'd be good to see more women breaking into male-dominated professions. I'd love to see more men going into what have become very female professions too. There you go. If you've got a question, guys, feel free to come up and ask Jim. I've got a couple online real quickly. Nishal's gone, have you got anyone doing 2 franchises in different divisions? Well, yes, that's very common, actually. Where it's common is not so much to get more work, because it's actually, there's really no case where one operator wants 2 different divisions, because you're paying double fees. And you can always take cross-divisional work anyway. What tends to happen is when you've got somebody who's got a number of employees. So you've got somebody who's got a mowing business and they've got, say, 3 people with trailers out on the road. So they've got a mesh of a staff, and they get a cleaning business and they work in together. I think we've got some franchisees with multiple. Yeah, I've heard mowing and fencing before a couple of times. There's a few. Mowing and cleaning is very common. A lot of the biggest ones, the franchisees that are turning over in the $1 million plus per annum, which we've got quite a few, a lot of those have got multiple divisions. We've got mowing, we've got a lot of different ones in some families sometimes. So the wife might have a dog wash franchise and the husband might have a mowing or laundry services and stuff like that too. So. See, one of the reasons we actually invite people, partners and family members to come to training, like with your son there, we're not being generous and open-hearted, we're being very smart, because what often happens is you'll get a couple come along and the wife might be buying a dog wash franchise and the husband will look at this and say, wow, it looks good. And then he go off and get a mowing franchise, or vice versa. So it often goes in families. It's very common these days to have husband and wife. Both it is, isn't it? Yeah. With franchises. Yeah, a lot. Yeah, absolutely. Guys, you got a question for Jim? Feel free to come up and ask him. Go for it. We've got a little bit of time left.
I have questions. How you deal with your failures in the past? Like you said, like how I did so many mistakes. But right now you see that as a mistakes. But when you fail in the project like that, how you deal with that things? Because right now, we all new. We're starting new. We don't know where we know how to do our job, but we don't know we're gonna success or fail. So at that time, what was your thinking and how you deal with that things? And you said like, don't care, I'll keep going.
Well, I do care.
No. How many attempts?
When I've lost a lot of money. Honestly, I'm not that rich.
I'm saying
I can assure you.
Yeah, no, I mean like how many attempts it took to you that I don't care if I fail or pass, but I still keep moving forward. That's how
I have a sense of mission.
Yeah.
What's your name?
Viral.
I have a sense of mission, Villa. I have a sense of purpose in my life. I have certain overall purpose in my life that I need to achieve. My research, big one, always has been. And this is a vision that's been going for decades. Like half a century I've had this vision, and no matter what happened, I couldn't give up. Even when I was broke, deeply in debt, looked hopeless, I would just had to keep going because this is a mission that God's given me. I have to do it. I have a mission for my franchisees. I have a mission to look after my franchise, make them successful. That's why I put a clause in the contract that says that the majority share of Jim's group cannot be sold without a written consent of a majority of franchisees. Even though my accountant says that's ridiculous, that's crazy, you'll lose value. And I said, no, I'm not going to have my franchisees ripped off by some greedy financial enterprise after I'm not around to protect them. And I have a mission for my family, which is my wife and my children. I've got 10 kids and I love them dearly and I want them to be successful too and I want to do everything I can for them, which isn't a lot of money, I might say too. Most money goes to research. But when you've got a sense of purpose behind what you do, then everything else is in perspective. Because failing doesn't destroy what I am as a person. I'm just a fallible human being. If I've made a mistake, okay, learn from it, do better in future. Keep on learning, keep on improving.
Yeah, but at the the day it comes, you're like, that's enough. But I still want to go. That's the one, like a mentally pressure, and what comes out and how to come out. You come out with that mentally pressure, and that I have to go ahead, and that I still have to do something different. And how you find the way, because that like even if you are best, you were the best where you fail, but you will be the best in that field as well. But you fail. So that times, what you think, what your thought process and everything.
Well, it's a great question. Resilience is one of the toughest things to get by. I think, as I said, what's very important that you have a sense of purpose, of meaning in your life. It's what Stephen Covey talks about. Begin with the end in mind. Have a mission, have a purpose. What's really important to you? And I guarantee it's not really, I'm going to have a bigger car than somebody else, or a better boat, or more expensive clothes, or a better... That's not a person. That's just a waste of money, frankly, from my point of view. You've got to have a mission, you've got to have a purpose, you've got to be centred. What am I for? What do I live for? What am I aiming to achieve? What do I want to be said when I'm in my deathbed? What do I want people to say at my funeral, at my eulogy? What matters to me? So that's very important. Sense of purpose, sense of mission. I have a strong faith. I believe that what I do is directed by God, and I rely on that, and I pray frequently, and I go to church regularly, and I'm involved with my church in various positions. So that gives me a sense of orientation. I know what God wants me to do. I know the kind of person He wants me to be. And I often fail. I really do. But as we say, if He said He has no sin, we deceive ourselves, and the truth is not in us. But if we confess our sins to God, He's faithful and just to forgive us our sins and cleanse us from all unrighteousness. And it doesn't really matter what faith you're in. I think matters a lot less whether it's Hindu or Muslim or Jewish or whatever. It's that sense of God's presence, which is a very strong thing. Very important to have relationships. Okay, family most of all. My wife, my children, but also relationship with your friends. In my sense, with my church people, my church friends, so forth. And work colleagues to a large extent too. People like Joel. Joel and I are good friends. We often talk about all kinds of things. Not often always about business. So that's important too. And it's also important to be fit as well.
Yep.
Like I exercise every day. I do half an hour exercise. I play, and I also play squash with this guy occasionally. We used to play racquetball, but then he started beating me all the time, so then I switched to squash.
Yeah, you built a racket, you built a custom squash court for it, yeah.
I built a yeah. Can't get beaten.
No.
He's a pathetic brown nose. You think somebody playing with the boss would know that tactfully you're supposed to lose, but he doesn't. He ignores all this stuff. He just beats me. So I had to change to a different game. Yeah. But as soon as he gets good at squash, I'm going to change the rules to badminton. Now I've got a advantage again.
Yeah, you'll do that again.
Yeah,
that's true. It's a great question.
It is a brilliant question, yeah. So resilience, if you are fit, if you have a strong relationships, if you have a sense of purpose, particularly if it's possible for you, you have a sense of faith and engagement, then it's a lot easier to cope with disappointments and uncertainties and so forth. You read some of the stuff in my book about that, some of the stories I told about the early days, about the time when the car broke down and stuff, and that sense of despair and how you get through it, and how you find that sense of mission. And I hope you'd have that in your own life. What's important to you?
Yeah, that's the same thing, because I already had 2 unsuccessful attempts.
Yeah.
So this is the third one. and I'm still keep going, you know. So that's why I'm asking how many attempts you take, like to just say that it's enough now. I'll keep going. I don't care for failures or the up and down. You know,
there's a book called The
success or
Founder,
something.
which is about Ray Kroc, founder of McDonald's. Now he came across, you've seen it. He came across McDonald's when he was selling Mixmasters, and this was kind of his late 50s, and he had not been successful. And it shows some of the efforts that he's making. It's really good about how he'd go out and try to sell these multi-spindle Mixmasters, and he kept on getting rejected. You can see that, even though he was quite good at it in reality. But he'd come back to his motel room and he played his records. You remember that? About motivation? And here's a guy who actually had failed multiple times before he actually stumbled across McDonald's Brothers in San Bernardino and then went on to become, obviously quite successful. So I just don't believe you should ever give up.
No.
You know, we've had guys who are in their 60s and haven't achieved much, and they get a franchise, and they suddenly they do better than they have in their whole life. We've got some great stories, actually.
KFC, like.
Yeah.
KFC guy.
Never too late.
No,
You're still a young bloke by comparison with me. You've got so much.
Oh, yeah.
And you can learn from the things that went wrong in the past, and you learn from them. Main thing is that you do learn.
Exactly.
But never give up.
No, thank you. Thanks, Jim.
Very good one. Good read the book as well. Real quickly online, Jim, Ashley's gone in. I'm giving some thoughts of becoming a mowing franchisee. Are there many franchisees in regional areas?
Yeah, we do very well.
Yeah,
actually, one of the easiest things to do, too, if you're interested in the franchise, is simply to pick up the phone, ask for a list of the local franchises and ring them and ask them. We can also show you, too, very easily, a list of unserviced leads in a particular area, which is a good sign. So somebody says, I want to go into, Cairns or whatever. Yeah. So I'll do a printout. I said, this is the unserviced leads we've had in Cairns since the start of the last couple of months. And I print them out. You say, oh, wow, there's about 16 mowing leads going.
And Julie's got a real quick one online. She's gone, if one of your children wants to join Jim's, what division would you suggest to them? Julie from Adelaide Driving School.
I based it on what they like doing. That's the one guidance. My daughter, third oldest daughter, Sylvia, with her partner, has just started Jim's Removals. And they're a really dynamic couple, and they're going to do very, very well. That suits them. Now, if you ask me, I'd probably prefer they go into fencing because we've got so much unserviced fencing leads, but Removals is what they have their heart on.
Love the truck. It's a great truck looking truck.
Great truck. They've got great purple uniform. You see it around. It's
you can't miss the truck. It's a massive logo on the thing. It looks
purple.
Yeah.
And it's this big logo designed by Sylvia, actually. She's quite artistic, my daughter. She's only 21 years old. But they're going to be very successful. They're actually looking at buying their second truck now. They only started just late last year. And they're going for a second truck. They've got some great workers. And they're going to be spectacularly good. I don't really mind in a way. But what you want to go into depends on what you like doing. You see, I went into mowing because I love gardening. I go out at the weekend. Actually, you might be able to see my fingernails. They're all filthy because I grub in the dirt. I love gardening. So mowing's obvious for me. But then what about somebody who loves cars? Car cleaning, they love car cleaning. Or they love dogs, so dog wash is fed. Or they love electronics, like you were talking about, the young man here. Things like antennas and those kinds of things are fantastic, because then you get into the wiring and all the it's just technical, so I'm hopeless at it. So it's just, what do you love doing? I know I was speaking to Haydar, who's a...
Cleaning divisional, yeah.
Yeah, he's clean divisional. And this is a guy who was working at a bank, and he, which is a fairly prestigious job, and then he had a contract doing the cleaning for the bank. And what he figured out is he actually had more fun doing the cleaning than he did doing the banking. So he started his own business. Didn't go particularly well. He was just cleaning, and he came to board a Jim's cleaning franchise, and he's now the head of the clean division, and he is rolling in it.
Does pretty well.
He does very well. He's a multi big wheel.
He's not short of a quid. He does well, Haydar.
Yeah.
We've got time for one more question, guys, if you want one. So you've got one more question, the last one. Come up, go for it. This gentleman's from Tamworth, Jim, where the country music festival is.
G'day. Gav from the Test and Tag. Got a question for you. What would be your advice bringing a new division into a regional area? So there's not a Test and Tag in that area.
The first one in Tamworth in Test and Tag.
Yeah, just wondering what you...
You've got to look at numbers of businesses.
Yeah.
That's what they do. It's a simple thing. Test and Tag is very different from a division like mowing or fencing or dog wash. If you take one of those kinds of divisions, especially cleaning to a certain extent too, you can sit back and take leads on the most part, and you'll probably have enough. You might have to do a bit of marketing, especially on like cleaning, but generally speaking, you've got enough. Test and tag, you've got to be proactive. We'll give you some leads, but you go out, there's a way of doing it, there's a pay-for-work guarantee system, you approach businesses, you introduce yourself. It's all based on business numbers. What they will do is they have figures on how many businesses there are. And from that, they'll be able to tell you whether it can support a business. I mean, just to give you an example, the first person who came to me about test and tag, which I didn't even know was a business in those, I thought Sparkies did it, was actually from Albury-Wodonga. And what impressed me is that he had a business that was entirely within Albury-Wodonga. And I remember looking at that and I thought, well, based on the population, if you can have one in Albury-Wodonga, which is probably the maximum, you could have like 100 across the country. You know what? We've got 5 in Albury-Wodonga now. And as we've got better established, we get more and more and more people. So I'd say what you've got to do is to count up the businesses. Your franchisor will tell you that if there's enough business to be viable, then that's what you do, and then you approach them. But Test and Tag has very good training. It's very good technical training, but it's also very good on the marketing side as well. It shows you what to do, and you've got to have that sort of nous. It's not for everybody, actually. We had one guy who was a long-term mowing franchisee, and he was getting physically, he couldn't handle it. So he wanted to switch to Test and Tag. And the franchisor knocked him back. So he rang me, contacted me, he said, why can't I have a Test and Tag franchise? He said, I'm a successful long-term mowing franchisee. And I spoke to the franchisor about it, and he said, this guy doesn't have the ability to market himself. You don't need it for mowing, you need it for Test and Tag. So I said to this guy, I said, look, that's the reason. I totally support him, because his job, he would not take a franchisee on who he thought he might fail.
All right. Thanks for your time.
Good question. Thanks for your questions, guys. So what we'll do, guys, before we wrap up, Jim picks his 3 favourite questions and they get first pick of the prize. Anyone else who asked a question, you can take some of this as well, what's left over, so come and see me at the end. I will also say it's a great time now to get a photo with Jim. There's a massive rush on the Wednesday. So if you want a photo with Jim now, just hand me your phone.
And you've got a good light there.
Got a good light there as well, and I'll take it for you. So it's a good time to get it done now. But Jim, what were your 3
there was 3 that were out. So I like the one about the civilization. Who said about...
That was a gentleman who had it written down. Yep, you come up and pick what you like. Yep, go for it first. You get any pick. What was the next one?
And this young man here, I thought
you come grab what you like.
Were fantastic.
Take anything you like. I don't know if you can take the beers though, unless you want to display it around. Yeah, you can take the Monopoly for sure. Yep, go for it. And what was the 3rd one there, Jim?
And the other one was talking about failure. Who talked about failure, about motivation?
Yes, the last gentleman.
That was a brilliant question.
Cool. Come up and grab what you like. Then everyone else who asks this question, you get a prize as well. So come up and see me after as well.
You just get to choose first. But
cool. Awesome. Which one would you like?
The hat?
You want this one? Yes, a good one.
Okay,
cool. So guys, thank you very much for your attention tonight, and have a good time at the rest of your training experience. If you asked a question of Jim, come see me. You can take anything you like from here, just not the laptop, please. And give me your phone and I'll take a photo of you. But thank you very much for your attendance, and have a good journey.